All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at our next topic with our angles and triangles. We mentioned it a little bit the other day, and we are talking about the angles inside a triangle this morning. And more specifically, the sum of all three angles. So I mentioned it on the last set of notes that we have what's called the triangle sum theorem. And this theorem specifically says the sum, which means we're going to be adding, of the measures of the angles in a triangle have to measure 180 degrees. So all three of those angles in the triangle have to make 180. So let's see how that will work for our examples here. All right, so example 1A, find the missing angle measures. So right now I have two of my angles. So one thing I can do is add those up and see how much that's going to give me. So 47 plus 58 would give me 105. And now if I take that away from 180 degrees, because again, 180 is supposed to be my total, and I've used up 105. So 75 is my leftover. So X is 75 degrees. And there's my final. Again, we're just adding up what we've used and taking it out of our total of 180. So let's use that same idea and try out number 2. All right, so again, in my triangle, I've used up 96 and 21. So if I add those together, 96 plus 21, that's 117. And now if I take that out of my 180 total, I have 63 degrees left. So my X is 63 degrees. Okay, let's try some more and see how we go. Now we're bringing in a second triangle. Not always are we going to just deal with one. Sometimes there may be two. They might be touching like they are in these next two examples, or they might be two separate triangles. But let's see how we can work with these if we have more than one. So we'll start one triangle at a time, and we always start with the triangle that has the most measures inside of it. Since this one is giving us two of the three angles I need, I have to start with that one. So same process, 43 plus the 74, 117. I'm going to take away that 117 from 180. And I'm left with 63 again. So right now, angle 1. So the measure of angle 1 is 63 degrees. Let's keep going and see now if we can find angle 2. Now remember, angle 1 and 2 are vertical angles. Which means they should be exactly the same measure. So if angle 1 is 63, so is angle 2. They're across from each other, so they have to be the same measure. So then the measure of angle 2 is also 63 degrees. Now in my second triangle, I know 2 out of the 3. Repeat the process. 63 plus 79 gives us 142. Take that 142 out of 180. And that'll leave me with 38. So then the measure of angle 3, 38 degrees. And we found all three of them. So let's use that same idea for example D. Again, we've got two triangles touching here. So let's keep going with that same process. Again, if I look at my two separate triangles, I want to start with the triangle with the most information. In this case, that's the triangle on the right. I've got 2 out of my 3 measures. So 50 plus 70 gives us 120. And then if I take that out of 180, I'm left with 60 degrees. So the measure of angle 2, it's okay if you don't go in order, is 60 degrees. And like before, I've got vertical angles because 2 and 1 are across from each other where my two lines cross. So then angle 1 also has to be 60 degrees because again, they're vertical, just like they were in the previous example. There we go, vertical. So then the measure of angle 1, 60 degrees. Now let's keep going and keep working our way around. Now, one thing I notice, angles 2 and 4 are linear pairs, so they have to add up to 180. So 180 minus 60 gives me with 120. So right now I know angle 4 as well. And now we can get our last one, angle 3. Inside this second triangle, I now have 65 and 60. So we can do exactly what we did in our previous examples, add the 2 up. That's 125. And then I need to take that out of 180. Which gives me 55 degrees for my last angle. So the measure of angle 3, 55 degrees. So those are our angles inside the triangles. Now, just like we had angle 4 that was outside the triangle, we also have a theorem that works with our angles on the exterior of our triangles. And we saw this one briefly, yes, on our last set of notes, which is the exterior angle theorem. And an exterior angle is formed by one side of the triangle. Oops, sorry, it moved on me a little bit. It's formed by one side of the triangle and the extension of another side. Now, inside this triangle, we get what's called the remote interiors, and I mentioned this on our last set of notes. These are all the angles of the triangle that are not connected to a given exterior angle. And the measure of that exterior angle of the triangle is equal to the sum, so again, we're adding, of the measures of the 2 remote interiors. So let's see in our picture down below where all of these different pieces are coming from. All right, so we have our triangle. All right, so here is our triangle. Now what it is saying is I can make an exterior angle by extending one of the sides, so make one side just a little bit longer than the others. And the exterior angle is that space from that extension side and the side of the triangle. So this is my exterior. Now, the 2 angles that are not touching that exterior angle, those are the remote interiors. So in this case, that is angle X and angle Y. And what the theorem says that if we add these up, they should equal the sum of the they should be equal to the exterior angle. So again, the exterior is equal to the sum of the remote interiors. So let's see how that works when we actually are dealing with our values here and dealing with some numbers. So example 2, find the measure of each of the following angles. So this time we're just starting with angle A. So that's this piece down here. Now, if you notice, they've given us an exterior angle. There's my exterior. So the theorem says these two remote interiors we should be able to add them up and get that exterior measure. So right now, instead of my total being 180, my total is the exterior, which is 56. Because with these, we're not using all three angles. We're only using two of them to get to that outside angle. So if my total is 56, well, out of 56, 20 of that has been used up, which means my leftover for the remaining missing angle is 36. And that's how we find our missing remote interior. And now if I needed to find that third angle, I could. All right, now let's try a different kind of example. We are looking for the measure of angle DCB. So that means we start at D, move to C, and then out to B. So it's the exterior this time that we're trying to find. So again, our theorem says, add up the two remote interiors. Those are the two angles that the exterior is not touching. Add them together, and they should give us that exterior angle. So 55 plus 27 should give us 82, and that is my exterior angle, 82 degrees. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the angles inside a triangle and your angles outside of the triangle. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions, and have a great rest of your day.